I'm here at the Whiskey A Go Go with one of the greatest musicians from New York. Well, from Louisiana, then they went to New York. And it's Randy Jackson. Randy, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Still here and still rocking.
Good. Actually, I was talking with one of the fans here at the, and we were discussing about if you really still enjoying playing, and it's not that much a work, you know, and it's more something in between. You know, bands sometimes play for fun, but they became working, and they lose the funny thing, you know.
Yeah, they might lose the spark that drove them to start playing music to begin with. I mean, sometimes when I'm tired, I might feel like it's work, you know, like anything else that you do in life when you're tired. But when when I'm rested and I try to get a lot of good sleep, it's, you know, I have a great time, you know. And that's the only time it feels like work is when I'm tired. But then I don't even want to go watch a concert when I'm tired, you know? Yeah. So, no, I still enjoy it, and that's why we've been together for 42 years, you know?
42 years?
Yeah, 42 years. 1975 we started back in New Orleans. Long time.
Wow. How was the beginning of the band? Do you remember how you remember how did you know each other?
Felix and I had been in a band together in 1973, and the band was called Shepherd's Bush, and we played all of Felix's songs at that time. You know, Felix kind of introduced me to songwriting, and then that band played for about a year, and we broke up, and then I was introduced to Guy through a mutual friend, and Guy and I started playing together, and then we brought Felix into the band to play bass. We played for a little while with a keyboard player, a friend of ours named Tim Thorson, and then he left the band to do other things. And then we came three-piece, and it became Zebra at that point.
I saw you were working on a new album, but I didn't see anything so far. How is that?
Just the writing, haven't put a song together. There's nothing on tape yet, you know, but it's coming. You know, we're not in a big rush because we want it to be right, and, you know, we got grandkids now and families and stuff, and we got all these gigs to do. But it's in the works.
It's in the works.
Yeah, it's in the works.
Do you have any idea when it's gonna come out?
I've been telling people for years when it's gonna come out. I'd just be lying. You know, I don't know. It could be out, you know, in 6 months. It could be out 6 years. Who knows? But when it's ready, it'll be ready.
And what is missing in order to have it ready? I mean, what do you need to? Do you need inspiration? You need to get together.
Just the time. And, you know, and figuring out how to do it and when to do it. I mean, everybody is just doing so many different things with their lives, you know. It's not like the old days where you used to say, okay, we're going to take these 4 months off and do this record, you know.
Yeah.
And we could work it piecemeal, you know. And maybe what we'll do is do a couple of songs and release them, you know, just as, you know, an EP or something like that before we put out a whole album this time, you know. But there's a lot of material, so.
I saw you in the documentary for Twisted Sister.
Yeah.
And how was your side of experience playing together in New York back then?
When we went to New York, you know, we were, you know, like country bumpkins. We came from New Orleans, and everybody was waiting to see what we did. And we looked at the scene. There were a lot of different bands up in New York. There was Twisted Sister. There were the Good Rats. There was a band called Rat Race Choir, who was very, very progressive. Some great bands. A lot of bands doing covers, and there were, you know, a couple of groups that were doing original stuff. Twisted Sister was one of those, and there was just, you know, we never felt like there was really a competition between the bands because we were drawing different audiences and we were doing different things, you know. And one thing we knew for sure was Twisted Sister was, like, you know, the best at what they did, you know, and, you know, so we weren't going to try to compete with that at any level at all. And, you know, our whole thing was three-piece and trying to do some progressive rock, you know. So it works out, and we've been great friends ever since, you know.
Yeah, because I talked to Mark Mendoza about 3 weeks ago at the NAMM show.
Oh, you did?
And he told me that story was not even the 10% of the whole story. So I imagine your band was part of this even more, because if you told me that, I mean...
Oh, of the scene, you mean, back then?
Yeah. I mean, he told me that the story was like 10%. I mean, it wasn't the whole story on the documentary.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, they were trying to cover a lot of ground, and that was, you know, the Long Island scene. But yeah, there's like a 4-year period, you know, where there was a lot of stuff happened. with a lot of different bands, and it's pretty amazing. Some of the musicians that came out of there, and some of the musicians from the local bands on Long Island who are working today, performing, still making a living playing music and doing it all around the world. Yeah. So
I know you are a big Beatles fan, right?
huge Beatles fan. Yes.
Do you collect anything, or because I know you did the Empathy for the Wireless.
Right. Empathy
How was
for the
that?
World. I loved it. I did it in my home studio, and I loved the Beatles. That was my first band that I ever saw. My parents took me to see them when I was 9, and I got the bug right there. I was hooked. So
Have you ever met them?
never met any of the Beatles. No, never did. No, but I have lots of friends that have met them. And they seem to be, what I expected them to be, in all their interviews and stuff like that. And it's sad that we won't get to see them again, but the music lives on, and always have that.
Last question. Randy versus Randy. There's another Randy Jackson. How was your experience have you ever been confused with Randy Jackson?
Not really confused, but yes, I've been expected to be the other Randy Jackson. I'd come into a hotel sometimes, and the people behind the desk, 'cause when he was on American Idol, would go, I'd say, "Hi, well, can I help you?" "Yeah, my name's Randy Jackson." They go, "Oh." I said, "Oh, you thought I was that Randy Jackson?" Yeah. A funny story is that back in 1989, before American Idol, the two of us almost played together.
Really?
Yeah, he had been playing bass for Journey, and I was already on the road with the Jefferson Airplane when they did their reunion tour in 1989, and they were it was at the end of the U.S. tour. We had just finished that, and they were thinking about going to Japan, but Jack Cassidy, the bass player, couldn't make it, and so they called Randy Jackson and asked him if he would do it. So there were going to be 2 Randy Jacksons on stage.
Wow.
The two of us, yeah. Yeah, we've met before, and he's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He's a Louisiana boy, so yeah, great guy and a great musician.
There's anything that you want to say to your fans?
Just thank the fans for, supporting us. It's been 42 years, and that's pretty amazing, and if it wasn't for the fans, we wouldn't be here, We made 4 records in 42 years, and, I'm just glad they're still enjoying the music, so thanks.
Randy Jackson, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.